What goes through your head when you're showing them how to model or how to just walk?
I feel like I try to give them the professional standards that everybody's gonna look for. Like there's just a certain way that people want you to walk. You're playing a character at the end of the day. You're trying to be a mood, a essence.
What is like one of the most important things that you've learned kind of being in the scene so far?
So I try to just stay cool, calm, and collected and just be myself because I really don't get riled up. Like it takes a lot to rile me up. Again, I'm very strategic. So I'm gonna go through these things before I crash out. It really is months of them training. If you don't know anything else about what I said today, remember.
Today's guest is none other than Shannon Love, a true fashion icon right here in Arizona. Her journey began as a dance coach, but she's since evolved into one of the most respected model coaches in the game. She's helped hundreds of aspiring models build their confidence and get runway ready for everything from boutique shows to major fashion week events. Shannon just doesn't love fashion, she lives it. She's been a driving force in shaping Arizona's fashion scene, curating and producing shows across the valley, and hosting her own networking and model training events. She's a mentor, a visionary, and a powerhouse in this industry. If you want to stay tapped into everything happening in the Arizona fashion world, Shannon Love is the person to follow. Trust me, fashion in Arizona wouldn't be what it is today without her. So Shannon, kind of, let's talk about kind of how we met, because I've known you now for 4 years.
Yeah, oh my goodness, time flies when you're having fun.
Right? Yeah, I think the first time I met you was at the Corella & Co studio back when you were working with them. But no, it's been a crazy ride, from just seeing how we kind of started back, or how I started back in like that time, to just seeing how we've both kind of grown and getting to know you a lot more. So I'm excited to hear about your story.
I know, right? And since we've like evolved from Corella & Co. and both of us have done so much in that time, it's so cool to see our longevity and how we keep like inspiring, almost reinventing ourselves, because that's so important in this industry.
Yeah, no, for sure. So kind of to start out, how did you get involved in fashion, or if you want to even go further back to that, like how did you kind of start your journey into Arizona? You said you were from Iowa, yeah. How did you kind of start your journey here in Arizona?
So when I was in Iowa, I was very creative. Like I grew up small town, Davenport, the Quad Cities. Not a lot to do there, but I've always been super creative. Always felt like a brat's doll. Always felt out of the box. I first started in dance, and so all my training is like through dance. My first mentor was a Juilliard dancer, so I was just basking in the dance kind of world. And then someone was like, "Oh, you should model," and I was like, I don't have to remember 15 minutes worth of movement. Probably would be something cool to check out. So then I did a fashion show, and then I fell in love with it. So I did a little modeling troupe in college, and then after that, I signed with the agency in Chicago, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna move, me and my husband. We had one kid at that time, and I was like, okay, let's just go. We have to go somewhere cool. I was like, AZ is right in between everything, so why not? Let's move there, try luck. Like, we're kids from Iowa. We don't know shit. Like, we're just gonna uproot everything and go. Why not? So we did, and when I got here, instantly I was like, okay, I want to model, I want to pursue this, but how do I get into it? It was super hard finding anybody who would give me any tools or keys to start. And so I was like, okay, let me use my other things that I have. And so social media is actually where I started at. I worked for Spotify for a little bit through 24/7 In Touch. I worked for the city of Tempe. And so social media was like my bread and butter for a while, just posting, creating content until I figured out how to be a model. And so I started off with Phoenix Fashion Week because they were the first people here.
Okay.
I was a top 40 model. After that, I did some other things in LA and just started moving around to all the shows, basically just meeting everybody that I can, networking, figuring out who those key players was. And I was like, okay, everybody's gonna gatekeep. I'm gonna learn this shit. And when I learn it, I'm going to turn it into a LLC. And that's exactly what I did. And so I've been to LA Fashion Week, Chicago Fashion Week, all the Phoenix Fashion Weeks. I've done so many things here. Tracy Thomas is the first person who ever gave me my model directing start. And so the first time I ever met her, she was like, I see something in you. You're super special. I want to give you this opportunity to coach. And I was like, I'm a dancer. I'm a dance instructor. I guess, like
Right.
maybe. And so the
Some
first time ever,
similarities.
right, it's similar. So the first time I ever coached, she gave me 150 models. I was like blown away when I got home. I was so nervous. I was like, how do I
All at
like
once?
all at once?
What's the biggest you've ever done before then? How many students?
0. It was my
Right
first
off the
time.
bat,
Right
it
off
was
the back, it was
150?
150.
Whoa.
But,
And
but
so-
you said you did dancing,
Yeah,
teaching
and
before?
teaching, that's like 30 people in your class, like
Gotcha.
25, like
Okay.
small numbers,
And
you
it's
know.
much different teaching
Much
depth and then
different.
Gotcha.
It's like I don't have to talk a lot. We're moving. Get this movement.
Yeah, right.
With Runway, it's different because it's like you're unlocking their confidence, and with that, I feel like you have to be a little bit more personal. And so I was like, how do I like make this a good time? And so for me, everything about coaching is unlocking that confidence, and I believe is not just about Runway. Like you need that in your career, you need that in your everyday life when you're talking to other people, and so it's just about unlocking that confidence so you can elevate your life essentially. And so from there with Tracy, I went on to Tempe Fashion Week, to Korea and Co, to Arizona Fashion Week. My biggest one yet was Kenneth Barless call me up, ring ring.
Like, we need you out here in
We
Cali.
need you in Cali, baby. I was like, okay. It was like, I'll pay for your flights. I'll pay for all the things. And I got flued out. And I had a good time as backstage manager for his San Diego showcase. And it was beautiful. It was
Get
a
a
good
lot of
time.
content?
Got a lot of content. It was just amazing seeing Haute Couture at that level too, and just seeing him sew things and seeing his team of 3 people, me and Kim Covert, actually, he flew her out too. And so it's us 2 that makes the team of 5. And so I was like, oh my God, it's so personal. Like they love me, and it was just beautiful. So for model directing, I got tired of building everybody else's brand. Like it gets, seriously, it gets like
Yeah, so much of your
taxing.
energy, yeah.
Yes,
So
and I'm
can I-
like 32.
Can I go back and ask you something
Yeah,
about
go back and ask me.
the coaching stuff?
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
because you said you had 150 people at once.
Yes.
But you say you also have to be really personal. So how do you balance that? Like like the whole like trying to get as personal as you possibly can, but also like trying to keep it professional almost
Yeah.
to a certain degree. Like, is there like a balance between that, or is it just?
I feel like there is a balance between it, and I feel like it comes from eye contact. It also comes from listening to what people are saying so they feel understood.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I take those moments and I really kind of zone in on everybody too. Like I would group it out, have people in certain aisles and things like that so that I can really focus in on you and really make it feel personal. I met a Native American at a photography camp. So in high school, I did do photography for a while.
You're like, I know the game a little bit.
Yeah, I know the game a little bit. And so I actually got flued out to a very special place, and they had me do a photojournalism camp. And it was so super special. But I met a Native American there, and he was like, one of the things that I hate about Americans is like nobody ever makes eye contact. Like everybody
Everyone's
just
scared.
Yeah, they're scared of it. And so he was like, it's actually disrespectful in my culture to not like look people in the eye when you're speaking.
Yep.
And so from that moment on, at the tender age of 18,
I
always
learned
was
the
like,
valuable lesson.
I learned the valuable lesson that it really makes a personal connection. So I feel like
Yeah.
if I have those attributes, then I'm doing a good job. And then just making it fun, because fashion is fun. Like we're not in like science, like we're not doctors, like we're literally in a field that is meant to have fun. So just encouraging them to be themselves and have fun at it.
So is there like a lot of those like because like obviously you get pretty close to some of these people, right? So
Yeah.
do you continue to have relationships with like some of your students afterwards? Like where
Of course.
yeah,
I feel like I am a mentor. I have a mentorship program right now that I launched last year. So this is my second year. But I feel like I've been a mentor because they really do like hang on to you. They still ask you questions. They're still wanting that energy from me. And I still watch them on their journey, show up to shows for them, things like that. So it really is a lifelong relationship.
I'm about to say
Yeah.
you have a
I
lot
have
of
a lot of
commitments.
babies.
Yeah,
They call me mother
that's
here.
crazy.
So how did you kind of start with like structuring this? Because I'm sure you probably were like also learning the basics of it too. So how did you kind of start figuring out how to train people correctly?
Exactly. And so I feel like that came with real life experience, being a part of runway shows myself, being a professional model. I felt like I understood what I would want as a model and then what I could give to them as an instructor. It's like having that kind of dual thing where I know one end of it and know the other end of it. And so since I know so much about being a model, I'm like, what would I want? And so that's what I aspire to be and have become, is just a a trainer that a model would love to come to. And also a safe haven, because I feel like when you're dealing with something as intricate as modeling, being on a runway, on photo shoots, it really is you in front and center. And a lot of people are like eyes on you and wanting you to perform. So it's getting past some of those fronts that you may have and finding that courage to really be yourself.
So it came pretty easy for you then?
No, I've always thought that I was an ugly duckling.
Sounded like it came pretty easy to you.
No. So I feel like maybe a little bit, but I feel like I had a lot of conversations with God, my peers. I like to double check. I'm a very structured person. Now that we have chat, chat is my friend, baby.
Right, I
Chat
use
is my
ChatGPT all the time.
Yeah, okay, just like, hash out those thoughts. But I feel like it took me a while to find the secret sauce, but it was also in trial and error. And I feel like most people who are starting businesses and wanting to do things never begin because they're afraid of that trial error part. Yeah, so like that's part of it.
Do you have any like embarrassing stories that you kind of like got stuck with you like when you first started doing it? Either like funny or like something that stands out when you first started doing it, like that you're like, oh, I'll never do that again, or something along those lines at all?
I don't think so. I really cannot think of one embarrassing moment.
So it sounds like you were pretty good at it then.
Right? So dance instructor. She must have been top-notch dance instructor too.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I guess I'm really good. And that's the issue I do have, like humbleness. Like I'm very humble. Like I don't feel like anything that I'm doing is super iconic, but everybody around me does. And kudos to that. Cheers to that. But I also feel like with who I am and what I have to do in the mission that, God gave me, I kind of have to be a little bit humble. Like, you should be scared if I was anything other than that, because maybe I would turn out like Kanye.
Who's going off one more time? It's like,
okay. The latest episode really tripped me out. I was like, come on, Yee.
Yes.
I'm like, boss.
Yeah, I was dying. I cannot lie. I was
all the things he was saying. I was like, oh my goodness.
I can't take him serious.
No,
I cannot
at
take him serious.
this point you can't. I mean, after his mom,
it's a joke. Yeah, it's all a joke. But anyways.
So, how was it when you started getting into the fashion scene here in Arizona? What was kind of the first steps, or how did you start meeting the people to get yourself involved?
Yeah, the internet is your best friend. Like you literally can find anything on the internet, and so I feel like how old are you guys?
28.
27.
Okay, so you guys kind of know, like our era kind of had the same, like, going into technology.
Yeah.
We still have like the house.
That really like uncomfortable middle part.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I feel like we know how to really navigate the internet because we were one of the first people on it. Literally. And so for me, it's all about research. I was a political science major as well. And so I have like a knack for just researching. It's kind of odd.
No, I respect that. Yeah, you got the knowledge,
I have the knowledge. I might go back to law school. Who knows?
All
but
right.
So I just researched how to be a model, the best places here. And then it pulled up a list of people, and then I was like, okay, let me just go stalk all their profiles, see when they're having events. Then I started popping up at the events, and then you get connected with people, and you just say, hey, my name is Shannon Love. I'm a new aspiring model. I would love to work with you. Go to the next person, talk, and then opportunities literally find you. And then after that, people were like, okay, you need a comp card. You need all these things. Work with this person, do this show. And so then I just started navigating it like that.
So around what time frame was this?
I would say 2018.
Okay, so not that long ago. Okay.
Yeah. I think I was top 40 2019.
Okay. Wow. Because like when you mentioned the whole like growing up between like that weird like in between where we got introduced to technology, but it was new to us still too. So like, so I was just curious, was there a big difference between like reaching out to people back then and now? Like I know it's been, I mean, like almost 6 years?
Yeah.
6-7 years. Is there a big difference between how like you interact with other people? Or
I feel like because when I first started out modeling in Chicago, we still had the books. Like you put all your modeling portfolio inside of the black book, and then you take the black book to the agencies. You walk there, you go to your go-sees, you go in that way. But now everything is like digital. You can find these people a lot easier. Back in the day, I feel like you had to go and seek them out. You had to find them at some event that you maybe heard through the grapevine through some person. So I feel like it changed in the way that it's easier to access everybody. And so it's just about having that will to find that information and be in those spaces. Great question.
Right, yeah.
That was good.
So, like, what is, when you're, like, getting prepared to, like, do a show, because I know you've trained a lot of the models for Arizona Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Kind of, when you're training these people, like, what goes through your head when you're, like, showing them kind of how to model or how to
Yeah.
just walk, kind of how does that work out for you?
I feel like I try to give them the professional standards that everybody's going to look for. Like, there's just a certain way that people want you to walk. Sometimes you can add character in, but it's about also turning it on and off. So I want them to be able to turn it off quickly and then to give me whatever style somebody is asking for. So if you're with a streetwear designer, give me that. Randy is one of the best people who ever styled any pieces. And she had her models going to the runway and like flick people off. Like, they literally, one dude was skateboarding, like it was a whole vibe and mood. So I want to make sure they are equipped to handle anything, like go from that to a wedding showcase, go to that to maybe elegant ball wear or something, like just be able to play all these characters is what I say and do it confidently. So it's all about that, giving them the basis of what the professional standards are and then adding that fire and that little piece of you in.
So would you say like really good models would be really good actors and actresses and stuff like that? Because it really takes like a lot of like changing characters and kind of like playing make-believe almost in a way, like getting into it. Like, that's interesting when you say that.
Yeah, and I feel like I teach people that as well. I'm like, you're playing a character at the end of the day. You're trying to be a mood, an essence, and you really have to tap into that vision and not think that you are the model. I'm always like, put yourself out of it. You are our character. You are playing this role that the designer wants you to play, and so play it well.
Do you have a role or something that you remember that like kind of like
That
stuck with
stood
you a
out.
lot?
Yeah, anytime I work with Brenton, like Jonesy, he really is like low key right now, but Brenton is a very iconic person, and I feel like he has a vision that is super extraordinary. So anytime I got to work with him or shoot with him, it was always like kind of tapping into my culture, but also being able to play a little bit more, add more movement, be myself a little bit more. He had a showcase called Black Outside, and it was like extraordinary. Like, I will never forget, because it was one of the few shows I got to dance in it, and then I actually got to model as well. But he like just let everybody have at it. Like, he had 5 bags of clothing with all his stuff in it. He styled some pieces, and then he was like play dress up and then go out there. Like, it was so amazing just to be inside of that creativity and play off that energy. So Brenton is really a good one. I feel like he probably sparked a lot of my interest in creativity.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've done a lot of fashion shows and stuff like this by this time. What is like one of the most important things that you've learned kind of being in the scene so far, just from a modeling standpoint?
I feel like it's stay calm, because everybody else is like always so frantic and they're running around and like, oh my God, what if we're late? I'm like, what if we are late? Like, we literally control it. So I feel like there's a calmness and an easiness that you need to have. And just to be able to calm a big group of people down. Like, everybody is always like so stressed out, and it's just like, relax, like what we're doing is fun. So I try to just stay cool, calm, and collected and just be myself, because I really don't get riled up. Like, it takes a lot to rile me up. So just staying calm and knowing that I have the tools, and if I don't have the tools, my team has the tools, like being able to move past, okay, if not that, like, again, I'm very strategic. So I'm going to go through these things before I crash out.
So how did you currently train a lot of students right now? How many students do you have under your program?
Yeah, and so my program is pretty open, because I want people to come as they are, go through. Like, life is really weird right now with finances and things like that. But last year, I think I trained almost 200 new people. This year, I think I'm at 30. And so my classes and things are pretty open. I have a group runway class that people can join. I also have workshops like Runway 101, and Runway 101 is coming up April 10th. And it's going to be iconic. You come in, find your signature walk, and then I actually have local stylists and designers come in and style them. We have a mini fashion show, and then we have a networking period. So the workshop for Runway 101 is really elite. I really thought about how I would want a workshop and what would be more fruitful from it. I also have Posing 101. You get your digitals there, create little creative photos, and then you also get to learn how to pose in your body. So for me, with dance being one of my strong points, I intertwine that into posing, because I feel like you can't understand your body if you don't know what to do with it. And so dance is a great thing to just learn your body.
Okay, so let me ask you something real quick, because
Yes.
recently, because of getting into this whole podcast
Yeah.
and talking to a lot of like fashion people and the whole fashion, I've seen a lot of fashion stuff come up in my timeline.
Yeah, I love it.
What is up
Tell me, what
with
is
the
it?
pose where they're like flicking, like almost like a
What's a flick?
Okay, so picture. You know how like in Madagascar, I know, crazy, right? You know,
Thought of my kids instantly.
Right? I was like, all right, which one?
nah, but you know how the lion, he does that thing where he does like this or whatever.
Oh, okay,
So
yes.
picture this, but they're bending backwards, and like it's
Ew.
like
You're
that's-
gonna have to send me a reference.
I'm
to
gonna
that.
send you a picture because that.
And
I've
then I'm
seen
gonna
it.
send you a clip of my reaction. We can do a little reaction video in within this.
I don't know that I keep
Wow.
seeing it. I'm just like, because I guess that just makes sense now that you're saying
Yeah.
that, like, where it's like more of like implementing kind of like almost like a dance move into like the
Yeah,
modeling
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Which maybe could be true because you know Coco Rouge, she is really like bow, 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 bow when she poses,
Oh, yeah.
right? And so now she's teaching these camps to help people, you know, catch on to that. But I'm always like,
That's
know
true.
your strong points. Know what to do and what not to do. And if you don't know, go to a dance class or come see me.
That's also, now that you mentioned that too, is that something that you would say people look for, is like the speed that maybe a model poses for the photographer? Like, is that something that's very
Yeah,
looked
like
at?
at the end of the runway too.
Yeah, for like photo shoots or like for runway
Mm-hmm.
stuff, like, is it better to have those fast motions or kind of going slow?
Yeah, so for runway, I feel like the professional thing, everybody wants you to be cool, calm, and collective. I'm like, keep it cute and minute. don't do too much. So for runway, I feel like it's just super simple. Like you're gonna shift. Maybe you like put your hands up a little bit like this, but nothing too crazy. But for posing, I feel like that's when you can be a little bit more dynamic. You can play with a lot more levels. You can be more creative. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know it's like how we mentioned, some of the modeling poses that people do, I mean, you got to have like, for one, balance is huge. Like there's
okay.
some
honestly though, yeah,
A
it's
lot of
impressive.
core strength,
It's
okay?
impressive.
Yeah. Like, how do you, like, is there some of those poses that you teach those models, and how do you kind of like train them for those types of stuff?
Yeah, so when you come in with me, I really try to figure out who you are as a person and figure out immediately like what your quirks are. So I can tell like if you are uncertain and you're like very shy, I try to help you come out of that. I can tell if you have an imbalance, then I'm like, you need to go work out. You need to figure out your core because that's really what it is. I'm super direct and just trying to figure out what the root of your issue is so that you can tackle that root and go on.
Yeah.
And so from there, I give them like different exercises or tasks to help with that specific need. And then after, it really is months of them training because everything is muscle memory. If you don't know anything else about what I said today, remember muscle memory is important for models because everything defaults back to that.
It should be
especially.
natural. It
It
should
should be natural.
Yeah, you
And then when you're on the runway and you get scared, you're going to default to whatever you've been practicing. And if that's not too good, that's your default. So I'm always like, build that muscle memory, do these exercises to kind of turn that around so that your basis is strong rather than a little shaky. So it's
Okay.
basically dependent on the person and their needs and then how I can shift that.
Okay. So like you've probably also met a lot of like the high tier models, like some people who do it like super professionally.
Yeah.
Like do you ask them like kind of some things that they would recommend, or like have you seen them do certain mistakes that you're like, hey, try this way, or like how do you kind of do
course.
with that with like the higher end models?
So for the higher end models, I always feel like it might be a confidence thing and them being placed in a new situation that throws them off. And then I'm like, hey, you got to adapt quicker. Like you just have to be on your toes. You have to be prepared for scenarios like this. Yeah, I feel like there are some things like Lauren Witherspoon came to me and she really wanted help with her like end of the runway pose. She was like, I'm doing something a little bit weird here. And I was like, oh, you are doing something weird. So we like figure out. So I feel like after you've done it for some time, you start figuring out some weird things that you're doing. Yeah. And you're like, how the hell do I reverse this? So that's how I feel like independent or more seasoned models come to me and they're like, okay, I need to perfect it a little bit more And then people are always asking me now about longevity since I have been in the industry so long. It's like, what do I do now that I've done everything? How do I keep shifting? It's like where the questions come for seasoned models.
So what would you say for that?
You have to find your other talents and figure out what those are. And I feel like you have to highlight those in the best way possible. So for me, I knew that, okay, maybe I won't be a supermodel, but maybe I can still get high-paying jobs in commercial work, and I don't mind giving other people keys. So let's start this LLC, start educating the community, start building your own community, and having a safe haven almost for models. And so it was just realizing that that's what's in me. Also, I'm an MC. I host a lot of events and fashion shows, and I like talking. So noticing that I do like those things and how can I build upon those things. Maybe it's styling. Maybe I want to be a stylist. Like, how do I start styling then? Or maybe I like photography. Maybe I need to get into that. But knowing that nowadays you have to be more than a model. So figure out what that looks like for you and then start tackling. Like, I hate when people told me all the time, you can't be more than one thing. You always have to stay to one. And look at me now. I'm more than one thing, baby.
Right? You just got to figure it out.
You just got to figure it out. You know, people really will hate. Yeah, they'll be like, don't do that. I'm like, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah. Actually, now that you kind of mentioned the like just the different avenues of modeling, like there's not just Runway, there's like magazines, there's there's probably a lot. Like
exactly.
Like, how would you, like, when you have these models, do you kind of ask them for what their aspirations are and then kind of work with them knowing like where they're trying to get to?
Yeah, I would hate for somebody to come to me and like have a false belief of what they could potentially have. And so I'm very direct and like about what you are, who you are, because modeling very much, half of it is a genetic code. Like, were you born this way, okay? That's just what it is. And if you weren't, okay, what else could you do within this scope that is allowed in this industry? So it's always about finding that heart of the person, looking at how you look physically, but then looking at who you are inner, and then finding those talents, and then moving forward from there. So yeah, I'm very realistic with everybody. I can tell you if you're going to be a supermodel, if you're going to be more commercial based, if you should get into acting, maybe you should do something else. Like just figuring out what it is that your talent is, and kind of just guiding you to that route.
Okay, and did you ever have like a mentor yourself growing up to kind of help you with that, or like, because I see you want to be kind of like a mentor to all these models now. Did you have someone to help you pave the way, or did you kind of figure it out on your own?
I did. So in Iowa, I had a band of women who really did support me from junior high to high school, and they were really just looking out for who I am as a person. I feel like back in the day, I was crazy. I was crazier. I was just like living life. Like in college, I used to throw these little parties in my dorm with full-on DJs and everything. So I've always been like super eccentric, super just myself. And being a Black girl in Iowa, like, it's hard. And so I do feel like I had a lot of people, a lot of people being like, you are unique, you are special, you can move out of here, you can do this. Like just putting little things in my ear, but also like making me do things like event-wise, like you should come tag along and watch, or, you know, do this and this. So I did have a lot of people kind of guiding me and giving me opportunity to be in a creative space to figure out who I am. And that was really cool. And so when I moved out here, Tracy Thomas, I think, would have been my first mentor. She was the first person to put me into a situation with 150 models. And so that was super special. And then Kathleen Murray, she's a really special person that I met through Tempe Fashion Week. She really helped me. And then my mother-in-law, Rosalind Sleet, I can't forget about her from the time that I was young, because me and my husband are high school sweethearts.
Cute.
Right?
And how long has it been now? Like, has it been a little while?
It's been a long time. We've been married for 10 years. We've been dating for almost like 16. Like, it's been a long time. Thank you. So yeah, she's always been around. Like, she's seen me from when I was young to like when I'm now who I am. And so she's always been on my path, just giving me tours, let me know. She's a beast of a woman herself. She's had multiple businesses and things. And so she's just guided me along the way. So yeah, I've had a few mentors to help me and to really guide me. And I feel like that's why I have a passion for it now. And I also am a giver. Like, I give too much sometimes. And I felt like last year kind of taught me that my giving could be detrimental to myself if I didn't figure out how it looked to give. And so, nobody teaches you that.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that one kind of sucks. I ain't gonna lie, that one kind of sucks.
Yes,
And
So you gotta know the right
I had a
people to
question.
give.
Yeah, I had a question about this since because it sounds like you're like at 100% almost all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you relax? Do you relax? Is that something
I
you
do
do?
relax.
Do you
I do
understand how to
relax.
do it?
My husband helps me relax because he knows he can tell when I just need a moment of calm. But I like to read, so I am a reader, and so for me, my winding down is just focusing in on a hardcover book.
That's interesting.
Yes, just so I can zone in on something.
Okay.
And like go into somebody else's fantasy and land and world of what they create. So yeah, and then going to the art museum. I really love museums. So just going there and like dissecting. Take the kids. My kids are so prone to knowing what museums are now. They're quiet. They're looking. They're like reading, watching.
Wow, all
And
right.
so
That's
so
dope.
museums and books. That's how I relax.
Yeah, because it's so crazy to think that you're like teaching all these people and you're kind of have to like again, like you said, you have all these kids. Like how do you wind
50,
down?
11
Like,
kids.
how does that even like what is it
look?
like a day-to-day thing look like to
The
you?
day-to-day
like
is
you said.
freaking crazy. So I literally like mom during the day because I'm a mom. My youngest is 4, so he's not in, school yet.
Yeah.
And so I still have activities for him to do. I try to put in a lot of things like soccer, preschool, artwork, going to other places. And then the evening is for activities for my oldest son, like in the beginning part. And then the other part is like up for my discretion for passions and things like that.
Okay.
And then Sundays is my rest day. And I learned that I needed a rest day 2 years ago because I was burnt out. I was like, dude, I'm doing this. Like, I just
Yeah.
need time to rest. So Sundays is when I try not to do anything and try to respect my time and just relax.
Yeah.
I was curious on that because I was like, bro, sounds
Dude,
like you're doing a million things.
Yeah.
I'm
A
like, this
million
girl
things
does
all the
not
time.
relax.
No, I
that's
don't.
good. But that's good. Good to hear that you have a day to just
Exactly.
like turn off.
I learned
Yeah,
that the
definitely
hard
need
way,
that for
okay?
sure.
I've been there,
Yeah,
man.
so.
For me, that's Saturdays. For me, like
Oh, I
Saturdays,
love
I
it.
don't like to do like
Anything.
anything work related. Like that's where I'll just like
Exactly.
actually just do just some normal stuff. And then
Yeah.
Sunday, that's when I start my week back up.
Oh, I love
So.
that. Yeah, all of us need that. We are humans. We are not robots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like the creative stuff too. Like
Yeah.
like just apart from your work, because if you just you work with your passion. If you do like your passion for your job,
Mm-hmm.
you also need to find that avenue to get you to like not burn out, and that comes in like the creative part of your work.
it
So
does.
kind of how do you differentiate that for yourself from like work to your
yeah.
just stuff that you need to do? Your
So
personal?
creative wise, I love to just tap into like my own zone. Since I did have a photography business, I have my own equipment and things like that.
Okay.
So I like to take a lot of self-portraits of myself. And then when I feel like riling up a team, I'll get some people together and just go shoot creatively. I like high fashion editorial things. Print is really where it's at. Like, I love that because you really can play a character and tap into a lot of different energies. So I love commercial, editorial,
Can
and
you
just
kind
being
of
creative.
explain what those are? Because like I've
Yeah.
heard of those a lot, but I honestly don't know the difference between
it.
all of them. Yeah.
So commercial work is like JCPenney's, H&M, Fashion Nova. Like, you're gonna come in,
Like the billboards that you're like
yeah.
people are like posters and stuff like that.
Exactly. You're gonna come in. You're gonna catalog these looks. You'll probably go through 30 looks if you can within 4 hours. You're just gonna catalog. It's super simple, nothing crazy. Editorial is like high fashion. Like, they're gonna do your hair, your makeup, like give you these garments, and it's all going to be inside of a specific mood and a specific kind of
Like a theme
ambiance
or
theme
yeah.
type of thing. Yeah. And then you have Runway, and that's just straight to the point, showing off the garments, showing off the clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said print is your favorite. What is?
Yeah, like just doing editorial, print, magazines, just being in that aspect of being creative. Since I do come from a dance background, I'm just used to the narrative of stories. And so it's easy for me to play a story versus if I go into catalog, it's just like boring for me. But I will do it. That brings me back home. I will do it. But I do prefer editorial so that I can be a little bit more creative and play these moods because it's super fun. Like, I'm not being Shannon, I'm being this other entity.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you keep do you post everything that you
Oh,
do, or is there a
hell
lot
no.
of stuff that you keep to yourself and stuff like that?
So,
Yeah.
Right. Another good question.
no, that is a wonderful question because I actually teach on
That's
this.
true.
I'm like, when you're networking and figuring out who people are, like you're figuring it out. Like I could shoot with you and you could absolutely suck. I'm gonna appreciate our time together. I'm gonna thank you, and when I go home, I will not post those photos. But I thank you for your time and that experience. So I feel like you always have to be posting within your narrative and who you are. And I feel like on Instagram and stuff, people really don't care about your commercial work. Like you doing that H&M kind of thing and that boring thing. They really are looking for creativity and more of your personality.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are kind of important.
Yeah. What are your I mean, you do a lot on social media too. Is there like a structure that you have for it, or how do you kind of work your socials?
My social media was hard, y'all. Like when I first started, I was just trying to figure out what stuck and what really was going to make people be like, I want to come back to her page. So when I first started off, I had like a very kind of structured grid. There was like some pictures of, people do this sometimes, like just trees or like an item. Then the next one would be like my face, and then the next one would be like high fashion. And then I was like, okay, everybody's doing this, and I hate to do what everybody else is doing with my Aquarius self. So I was like, oh, let's X this. And then I started putting a quote in the middle and with 2 pictures on the side. So I did that for forever, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yes, and then last year I was like, what if I did that, but make it all reels, because freaking video is king right now. Like that's all people care about is video. So it's like I need to do 2 videos, 1 picture. So, right? So like the reels are
Sounds like a
now,
headache.
they're so cute. Like you should mash my profile now. But in the middle I have like how-tos, my work, model tips I just started doing. It's like an educational space in the middle. And then the other 2 is more for like my content of what I do, because I am a stylist now. I did not embrace that until about 2 months ago.
Really?
But I'm a stylist. I really like putting together things. And so on my page too, you'll see my styling and things like that. And then sometimes I intertwine my children into it and my husband, but I like to gatekeep my family because y'all don't deserve them.
Yeah.
So it should be, to be honest with you.
Okay,
You gotta
type
keep
shit,
that
type shit.
100%.
Yeah.
So, how do you... Damn. No, that was so real that I lost my sense.
Like, yeah, that was so real.
Yeah, structuring your
No, my
content
bad.
like that is
It's
I mean,
insane.
it's big. Yeah. So how do you do that? Like, do you kind of like write down what you're gonna have as content like a week before something, or how do you kind of get your structure for that?
So when I first started off, I was like, I need to just be taking content all the time. And so that's pretty much what I do now. So whenever I'm out, I just always have like a catapult of content on top of like the things that I'm doing in the community with teaching and my own workshops and things like that. Like it starts to pile up. And then I just asked chat to help me with my thoughts at the beginning of the year to reel it in. And so it gave me some ideas about how I could start structuring it to make it make sense a little bit more. And so, yeah, as long as I feel like I have educational things up there behind the scenes of my life, and then creating my content, and then also showing my professional work, it's like a good sauce right now.
Yeah.
Just figuring it out.
Yeah, because
And
one
then
thing
analytics. We need to look
like-
at that. It's important.
Yeah, because one thing that I always just like admire just about anybody who makes good content or is consistent with content, because like it's tough. Like a lot of people
is.
don't realize how hard keeping content consistent is.
It
Like
is. It's
making
crazy.
content is pretty
Easy,
simple, yeah.
right.
Just turn
But
the
like,
camera on and record.
yeah,
Right,
literally.
right.
But once it goes to the consistency of it, that's where it gets
Different
like
beast.
difficult. So like whenever I have just someone on the podcast who again just good at knowing how the content works and does
Yeah.
that, like I can only like admire that because like
Yeah,
I know
thank
how
you.
hard it is. So
It really is. I appreciate that. Some people are like, you should help other people flip their content. I'm like, y'all always giving me jobs. I got enough jobs.
right, it's like I'm in my.
I remember my question. Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, you're
Yes,
good. You're
we
good.
love it. Run it back.
Going back to the whole stylist thing. So how do you become a stylist, I guess?
I feel like the first part is being like, oh, I'm a stylist. I can do this.
Right, man.
Nice and simple.
All
All right.
And then the second one is just like seeking that opportunity to become a stylist, seeking those jobs, going out into the community, hosting your own photo shoots, doing your own thing, and figuring out who you are, what your style is, your tone of voice is for styling, and then just going out and putting your name out there. It's really wild that I've worked for Arizona Fashion Week so long, and I wasn't a stylist for them. But when I went to go with Kenneth Bartless, he's like, style my wedding collection. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, like, just look at the outfit you got on. Like,
what?
everything just matches, like, super
Thank
well.
you.
So it's something
Thank
that you, like, yeah, like, your outfits for sure are,
Thank
like,
you. They're
10 out of
always
10,
good.
for
People
sure.
literally say to me, like, we are watching you. We want to see what you're wearing. Like, we look forward to seeing you because we know you're going to eat it up. So I really love that because I do. I, like, take the time to make it, like, be great. But also, shout out to the 90s and Brad Stalls because you really did inspire me to
Right.
grow up and be my own Brad Stalls.
So let me ask you something else,
Yes.
because look, I've grown up. I was never like the one to like style myself,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
get
yeah.
my hair right and blah blah blah. I kind of just went about my day, you know.
Okay, I feel it.
Recently, within the past few months, I've kind of gotten more into like taking care of myself,
It's
basically.
this fashion shit. It'll do it to you.
Right.
I
what I
cannot.
was
It took
telling
me like an hour and a half to iron all my clothes and like do it. It took me a fat minute. So how long does it take you to get
Ooh.
ready? Like the whole like choosing out your outfit
Dude,
and like
damn.
how is that like a week and like ahead of the time? Like how does that
So
work?
it depends on the event. For Arizona Fashion Week, I curated all my outfits for that ahead of time, and I did that a month before because that's 2 weeks of outfits. And I'm a mom, and I'm a wife, and I have all these other things going. So for that, I had to curate it and really figure it out a month before.
Jesus.
I had a lot of people help me. I had one of my mentees. I'm wearing her necklace right now, Fever Dreams. Her name is Janae. She curated all my jewelry. So for something big like that, I really have to think about it and really get it going. I map it out. I take pictures of it. I have like a little content schedule. Like, again, I'm structured as hell. So I really need it for my mind. So for that, like big productions, I got to plan in advance. For little things like the No, they're a magazine out here and they highlight like 100 top women in the Phoenix area. I just went to that event, but I just like got dressed maybe 2 hours before. It took me like 30 minutes to do my makeup, and then I was like, what is my heart feeling in my closet? I just went to
You
that.
just go through and just pick out what you...
Exactly.
Gotcha,
So it
okay.
just depends on the event. I might be at the BET Awards in June, so
Ooh,
that
all right.
is going to take some
effort, some thought behind
some
it.
consideration, because that's a bit red carpet. Want to make some noise, so things like that. You really have to be a little bit more intentional. But
So I was going through your Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite color, red, I assume.
right now it is. Every
Okay.
year I have a specific color.
Okay, all
and
right.
red
Okay.
is the one for this.
I was about to
year,
say, I've
for
seen a lot of red on
real.
that
Yeah.
profile.
Yeah, I like red. I think I look good in red too. So
Oh, I agree with that.
Vibe,
Big
for
perk.
sure.
Is there a specific reason you'll go with the color? Or like what makes you decide like, oh, this, and is it like a year long kind of thing, or is it like a seasonal thing, or like how does that
Yeah.
work?
I feel like I just go with the wind on some things. But right now, I will say I steer away from some colors. Right now, I'm like an earth tone, shorty, brown, black. I really don't like blues unless it's denim. I have some orange, but that's wild to style. Like
It's hard.
It's
Orange is hard. Orange is
Orange
hard.
is
Just wear a beanie and you're good. You know?
Exactly. And then it's red, pink. I love pink for some reason. And then yellow sometimes.
Okay.
So it really depends on what I feel like looks the best on me. And then, just presenting myself in that light. But yeah, I really don't have like, this week I'm going to do yellow. It's just, it's just a feeling thing. And people are like, you're lying. I'm like, no, literally. I got a lot of clothes and it just...
That was my next question.
Yeah,
Like, what does the
I love
closet
it.
look like? Like,
Dude,
you got
so-
like a 3-bedroom like closet? What's going on?
No, I really do want... It's kind of a walk-in right now, but I really need a bigger closet. But with the space that I have right now, I try to be super intentional and sustainable with my whole shopping and everything. So really when the seasons change, I do a big bulk of like just releasing a bunch of things. That way I can make room for the new. The world is like just consumed with buying things right now, like Amazon, even Fashion Nova, and they get really crazy with some of their text. Y'all know that?
Their texts.
Well, they're probably don't shop
I
like
have
that.
no idea what you're saying.
No, their texts are really crazy. It's just like they're really on it with the marketing, and it feels weird sometimes. But all these people are like pushing for you to buy, and like
the text messages,
like text messages.
Oh,
yes,
oh.
I actually deleted them, or I would read some of them. But they're really on top of it with like the trends. Like if something goes on, they're texting you, and they're like, "Yeah, you should buy because of that," you know. So
I can respect
with
it,
all
but-
that, it's like buy. So I just want to make sure that I am not falling into the hype and just cleaning out where I can and making sure my closet is something that I enjoy looking at because I have to go in there. So
Fair enough. That's fair.
Man. So like what's been your favorite part about, I mean, when you're in a show, kind of, is it the show itself? Is it like meeting the people? Is it like seeing other people's outfits? Kind of what is one of your favorite things about it?
I think my favorite part will always be the models. Like no one understands just how much we have to do and how much we have to embody to be okay for a 10-minute, 1-minute runway, and you're just out there for this moment, and you've prepared for months sometimes even for this one single moment. So just seeing them go out there and just attacking the runway and being their best selves is always the best. But I do like networking too. Like a lot of people just gravitate towards me. And so I like talking, like a good drink, some conspiracy theories, you know.
Now you're talking.
So I like the people part of it too, because you just meet so many cool people, a lot of people who are just passionate and driven and just have so many things to inspire you. And I feel like as an artist, I'm always looking for people to, inspire me and like take me there, make me feel something special. So the people really are in it too. So the models and the people. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. So what would you say, I mean, there's so many different aspects to kind of, for one, just modeling and fashion, like your hair, the makeup, I mean, the wardrobe, the jewelry, like what do you kind of focus on when you do create or you put on a certain outfit or anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like it's all about the vibe. So I'm like, what messages am I trying to provoke? And then playing into that whole like message. So if it's like, I want to be businesswoman chic but high fashion, like, do I have jewelry on or is it just the piece, Like, is my hair crazy or is it simple, Or maybe it's like with Chic and Bloom, they just did their little show. But if I was doing promo for them and it's Chic and Bloom, how do I like intertwine flowers or the earth or, things like that? I feel like the concept is always the thing that you start with and then you stem from there.
Yeah, definitely. I've gotten a lot of my kind of style ideas or like clothing ideas from things that I see at a fashion show or anything, or just meeting people. So no, definitely it's something that like, it's a good way to just figure out something different to wear.
And Pinterest is your best friend.
I've learned Pinterest is like the best thing for. I'm like remodeling my house and stuff like that. So like wall colors, decorations,
everything. You just make a little board and that's your mood. And you're like,
I
could do that.
I should have been doing that for a while.
Okay, it's literally a key. It's a good hack.
I agree.
Yes.
I think my Pinterest just has like pictures of like
cars and shit.
No, like nights and like some cyber
like sceneries and stuff like that.
Like it's like
nights.
3D art. It's like 3D art type of stuff. Like nights, and like silver chrome kind of.
No, I get you.
Oh, that's cute. I love it.
Yeah, I need to.
Do you know you can get traction on Pinterest? Like people will definitely, if you make boards, if you make boards, you can link like your Instagram, your YouTube videos.
Oh, so you're saying Pinterest is the next like
no, I'm
big
dead
thing?
Serious. Like I went on there one day and I had like
we're gonna cut this part out.
300.
So
No, exactly. I'm like, don't give them this key. Don't give them this key. But if you pin it, people will engage with it, and then like it's just more PR and promotion for you.
I didn't even think of it like that. That's actually really smart. Actually, now I'm thinking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you can like comment on people's stuff and all that too. Like, because I just downloaded Pinterest maybe like a month ago.
A month ago.
Yeah, I haven't really had it for that long.
Sir, what have you been doing?
I mean, not the right things, obviously.
Okay, you're like, okay, y'all fresh. I'll allow it.
I used Google was my best friend growing up. You know what I'm saying?
Big Fur.
Pinterest, who you know what I'm saying?
That is so true.
No, but recently though, it just I don't know if this is off topic, but every time I would like load into Pinterest, it just felt like a scam for some reason. Like the way they have their like websites, like
Feeling
like,
scammy.
I'm just like, I don't think I trust this website. I'm gonna stay away from this one. I've come
There's
around.
too many. There's too many. Like
Yeah.
Red Note, when freaking TikTok crashed, I was like, what is
That
Red
was a
Note?
funny time period. By the
Did
way.
y'all download Red Note?
No.
I did not.
I was like,
You're
TikTok.
like, what
I
is
barely,
this?
yeah, I barely even touched TikTok, so I was like,
Feel me? I'm like, it's just too many. All these, the next generation, they are on it. Twitch, I don't. Have you guys downloaded Twitch? You know?
Oh
anything
yeah.
about
Oh,
Twitch?
yeah.
I want to start
Not on Twitch.
IRL live streaming this month
That
for
ass?
sure. Oh yeah.
oh hell no.
I'm trying to
In
learn more
Arizona?
about that. Why do you say that? Why is
I
your
don't know.
reaction like that?
I don't know. I guess it's just me. But
Arizona,
like,
well, because no one's. I mean, it's small.
yeah.
here in
There's not gonna be a
Arizona.
lot of people in Arizona, but I feel like you're gonna get fucking. You're gonna get fucking trolled. You're
I mean,
like,
hey,
bro,
those are what the reels are for, bro. Those
I
are
know
what the
for
reels
sure.
are
No, I
for.
get it. I get it.
No,
I don't know
that's-
nothing about that
I'm
world,
just not
but
trying to get
ooh, it
myself-
sounds
I'm not trying to get
scary.
jumped. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
Twitch.
I'm not trying to get gunned on this thing.
IRL stream sniping and stuff. No.
Yeah, no, I don't know about all that.
No, Twitch
Sounds intense.
No, Twitch is definitely because it's literally a content hack. Because like if you're IRL Twitch streaming, I mean, you just have a busy day. You live stream that whole entire day. You just need battery packs and like a Wi-Fi connection. But basically, you do that whole day. You have kind of segments of whatever you did in that day. So let's say, like for me, for instance, if I had like a client shoot, I would record that client shoot IRL, and then I would come back here, I'd edit that up, record that IRL, and then I can turn those into YouTube
So it's
videos.
in real life, but with a delay, though. Because you
I
got
was
to
about to say,
record it
'cause
first.
it's, so it's
and
not,
then
so
you
it's not
throw
live
it.
no more. Yeah,
I mean,
know?
you could probably put you can put delays on Twitch. You can have it to where it's a minute delay, or you can have it to where it's a 1 second
then
delay.
what happens to the? I don't know. I'm big on privacy. I'm like really. That's why like the
No,
whole social
seriously.
media thing, like for me, is like a little weird to get into and like try to like
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
into it more
yeah,
because
yeah.
I like my
Me
privacy.
too.
I like that's why like when you said that like, you try to kind of like shelter
Gatekeep
like
my
gatekeep and stuff like that. Like
family,
I really
yes.
do respect that because like I'm big on privacy and I think with
Yeah.
like social media nowadays, like people are
They're weird. You
People are
will
weird, man.
not be popping up in my child's
That's
school.
what I'm
You feel
saying.
me? Like, no.
That's what I'm saying.
it's
Nah, but like
crazy.
I don't know. I think like when you're doing something like that, like even your own like privacy about like I don't know if it's just like a personal thing. Like I feel like I'd be self-conscious about what I'm saying, what I'm
Oh,
doing.
yeah,
for
Every
sure.
little
For
thing.
sure.
Like oh hey,
Dang, that's crazy.
no.
But if
For
you
sure.
do that, let me know because
I'll
could be
tune in.
interested.
Yeah,
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
I'll tune in.
Dude, I'm
Be
gonna
interested.
I'm gonna do it for sure, and then I'll let you guys know the
How it
the
goes.
feedback on it.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm excited
DDG
for
just
it.
did that shit. Y'all know who DDG
Yeah,
is?
yeah. Man's a clown.
He's
Man's
a clown. He's a
clown.
No, don't come for me, DDG. Because
Hey, I like the box dog. What's up?
no, but he really was on that thing, and people be tuning in on Twitch. Like,
No, there's-
seriously.
No, there's some
Yeah.
people that get like all day long.
They're
on
all
that
day
thing.
long
All day
on
long
it,
on
just
that
watching
thing.
other people.
Yeah.
It's like those fake people who like do like the Sims stuff on it.
Bro, that shit
You
had
know
me
what I'm
weak,
talking
bro,
about?
On TikTok
They're
and
like,
stuff like that,
yum,
bro.
yum,
That
yum.
shit.
Really? I don't think
You don't
I've
know
seen
about that?
There's
before,
the
no.
Spider-Man one. You know which one
I
I'm
know
talking
what you're
about.
talking-
You know which one I'm talking about.
I cannot believe this is something that people really fuck with
But
in
they
the
make
world.
money.
And they make
They
money.
I respect
So
it,
much,
bro. If
yeah.
you're gonna be making your money, I respect it. But the people paying,
You gotta send me that Spider-Man one. I need to know what you guys are talking about. right
Yeah,
now.
you're out of the loop
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
Isaac.
Well, I'm not on TikTok too often either.
No, that's
I mean,
fair.
unless
That's
it's on
fair.
Instagram.
No, I
but-
see it on YouTube sometimes too, and so
It
or
might
Instagram.
pop up
It
on
pop
IG
every once in a while.
sometimes,
No, but I've seen
yeah.
some fun. See that man?
That's crazy. So I guess since we're on that topic, is there any like app or websites that you would recommend or that you use yourself that you
That are
trust?
pretty good.
Yeah.
I just downloaded something called Posh. You know what Posh is? It's like a community for you to share your events and things like that.
Okay.
That's a good one. I love IG. Since I'm an old head, I guess. I ain't really that old. I'm auntie vibes.
That's crazy nowadays, by the way. The whole 26, 27, 28, you're
You
like...
feel me? You're like, oh, wow,
I'm
really
like, bro,
pushing it.
who?
Yeah, it's like I don't even know that much.
Still
either.
young.
That's crazy.
So I'm still on Facebook. I really do like Facebook for the groups. You know, there are groups
I've heard,
on there.
I've heard Facebook is like the place to be,
Yeah,
like
it's
for
the place
groups
to
and stuff
be.
like that.
Yeah, it's nice. And then what else? LinkedIn, I just started. It's crazy because in the professional world, people really do mess with LinkedIn.
100%.
Yeah.
And they really
100%.
do like it. So I've
That is
been
very
like
true.
curating my content on there. I just schedule it out on LinkedIn because I ain't got the time.
Can you do reels on that, like videos?
You can do videos. They
You do
just
videos
allowed
now?
that. Yeah.
I was about to say,
You can
back,
do
back when I was on it, you
it
know, I
wasn't.
do-
It
yeah.
has evolved, and that's why I went back on it. So LinkedIn is a good one as well.
All right.
Let's try
What
it.
else do I use? That's pretty much it. In Pinterest, I love Pinterest because, again, people can save and pin your ideas and stuff. And it's a good way to loop it all back around. I'm trying more for TikTok right now and for YouTube. I want to start my own channel. I have all this. I literally have so much content on my phone. It's kind of ridiculous. So I'm just trying to figure out how I can make that into a YouTube series.
Yeah. No, that's good though. At least you have all that set. So then, yeah.
I'm about to say that's the worst part about like starting YouTube is like starting to make the content for YouTube. You already have the content.
I already have it. So it's the editing. Y'all can give me some tips, right?
Oh yeah. We got you.
All the pointers.
That's what like stops me. I feel like it's like, oh my god, I gotta edit
it's
all
probably
this
one
stuff.
of the worst parts of it all. Is the editing, honestly, because it's not even hard. It's just time consuming. It's just so time consuming. But I get you, no, for sure.
Even now, like when I'm making my own content, like if I have to create it because I create most of my videos. Even now, like if a videographer comes to me, I'm like, just give me the raw. I'm so serious. I'm like, I can edit it, which works out for me because in the videography land, y'all really don't like to edit. Like it really is a whole different beast, you know? So if I can just take that away, most videographers are like, hell yeah. And I really do like the artistic expression of it, but that shit takes a while, you know? Like if I'm
doing to come out nice,
like 3, 4, maybe 10, depending on the video, like it's a long time. So
yeah, for sure.
But it's worth it.
Once you're getting the rhythm of it, it's like it gets a lot easier.
It gets easier for sure, but it's still time consuming. Yeah, it is still time consuming.
That's why I'm like, I can't talk to you. I have to edit.
That's I hate that my friends hit me up and they're like, hey, you want to go to the casino? Hey, you want to go do this? Nah, bro, I'm editing, bro. Like, I can't. I'm like,
it's real life.
I'm
editing.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
They're like, really? What do you have to do? Edit.
Yeah, this feels like such a weak excuse to not go out. It's like, oh, I got to edit a video, you know?
I'm like, well, you come and edit it for me if you're questioning me.
Yeah, learn how to do it and then come. Yeah,
exactly.
So what about for like models? I know there's a lot of like websites or like apps that help models book people. Like, is there anything you would recommend or that you use?
Casting Networks is a good one that I use. Out here, ArizonaActors.com is a good one. And a lot of time models think that they shouldn't go into the acting world, but you absolutely should. Sometimes for extra work, you get paid really good to do nothing. And so a lot of times I've been booked by Talking Stick. I just go there and stand and get paid a nice lump sum of money.
Do you still, like, if it's like something like it's like played over and over again, you get like monthly payments
exactly.
of it too?
If you're the main actor. If you're just extra, no. But if you are a primary actor, then you do get residuals on him. There's levels to that shit.
I did not know that. I did not know.
But what other things are good? Oh, Instagram always is a good one because the fashion world is moving out of just like little shows in Fashion Week. So independent producers, people with businesses are starting to host their own events. So it's just good to look who are the top key players in your area so that you can just see what opportunities they are providing for you. Those are a few good ones.
Nice, yeah. So what is to kind of wrap up now, what is kind of the next chapter, the next goals that you got coming up?
Yeah, so for my LLC is just continue to provide a safe space for models to educate and for artists to come to me. I'm throwing more Mix with Love events, and Mix with Love is just a mixer that I provide for the community. Back in 2020, like in 2019, I had an event called Universal Love, and the whole point of it was to have multidisciplinary artists in one space and for us to just engage in what we were doing and really see and get inspired with what other people are doing. So I'm kind of bringing that back with Mix with Love. I've thrown 2 of them. They all have been kind of model focused, but on May 31st, I'm going to partner with Farm to Pharmacy, a cute little wellness shop in Chandler, and we're gonna have an open mic. So it's gonna be super cute. Tickets are $10. I need maybe 2 or 3 more artists, but just providing more mixers, more educational benefits, but then also finding more sponsors to fund because I want to keep my prices as what they are to make it accessible for everybody because I feel like confidence, again, is something that everybody needs. It's not just a modeling thing, it's a life thing. Even for women, the number one thing I like to say is like, when you're out on the street, if you're not confident, you're like one of the first person to be preyed on because you don't walk with authority or confidence or anything like that. So really it is a life skill for you to feel safe, for you to feel empowered. So finding sponsors to keep my numbers down low for pricing, work with some more independent producers. I want to start going out into LA a little bit more in other cities with the workshops and things like that. And then, just being myself, more emceeing, more talking at universities and schools. I've talked at ASU, a Phoenix High School, some groups. So just speaking more about education and how people can get into it, continuing to be a safe haven and provide these events, especially curated for artists and models.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you want to talk about your broadcast channel. Like, I'm in that. I know you put on so much things that are happening in the community.
Yeah.
So that's something that, if you want to kind of say.
Yeah, and so for me, opportunity is our bread and butter for models and creatives. And so again, I'm on social media all the time. So I was like, I'm seeing all this stuff. I might as well just create a channel and then just start pushing that shit in the channel. Like, why not?
Yeah.
And so now people are just sending me their opportunities. I see a lot more things. And I guess I'm getting into being a casting director a little bit more as people. Yes, wow. People are just reaching out to me, being like, you should cast for this. You should put the word out for me this way. And so that's a cool venture that I'm going to be starting new. And a lot of people have been telling me, but I don't know about this one, y'all. But I'm thinking about it, is to start my own agency. A lot of people are just like, you would be a brilliant agent. You could guide me. What does that look like?
What does that even look like?
What does that look like? That's why I'm thinking on it, because, man, that's a lot. But
yeah.
No,
that's amazing. And you definitely have the experience. You're just one of the top people that, would kill that. So I'm sure, whatever you go into, you're going to do 100% and really get at it. So. No, so where can people find you? Socials?
You can find me at The Real Shannon Love on IG. That's where I post the bread and butter at. But Shannon Love Phillips on LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn.
All those professional people on here too.
Okay, I know y'all out there. And then Facebook, Shannon Love. And then in my Instagram bio, you'll find my website and all the other details, like my Eventbrite, where I host all of the events and tickets and things like that. So just follow me on IG, and then you'll find the wealth of everything else. I have ebooks, I have model consultations. I literally have all the resources that creatives need. Just come find me. Yep. Of course, I can't do it for free, but the price is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely check her out. She's, does so much out here. So, it was great to have Shannon on here and talk about her experiences. Do you have any last words?
It was a pleasure. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was amazing talk.
This is amazing. Look out for Hot Shot Podcast. They're coming up looking at all the hottest in the Valley, baby. You don't want to miss. And you better ask them how you can be involved, okay? Be that one. Be thirsty for this.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Shannon.
Always.
Thank you.